Thank you for watching Science TV. This is Ilya Barukcic, Jever, Germany. It's December 2009 after Christ. I'm glad to present you a trial, and I think a successful trial, to refute Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. I hope you will be able to enjoy this movie. After watching and studying this movie, you should be able to recognize how Heisenberg's famous uncertainty relation contradicts classical logic, why the same is logically inconsistent, and why the same cannot be accepted as correct any longer. This movie is based on my paper published in the electronic journal Causation, entitled as Anti-Heisenberg 2, Refutation of Heisenberg's Uncertainty Principle. The same was published in the year 2009. This movie is not absolutely identical with my paper as mentioned just before, but the same is grounded to a very great extent on this publication. Please allow me to refer you to my original paper about Heisenberg's uncertainty relation if you intend to study the very technical details about the refutation of the same principle. Thank you for taking the time to watch this movie. Thank you for watching Science TV. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What is this? What are we talking about? If we follow Heisenberg himself in his reasoning, I'm sure that we will have to talk about a principle and not only about a mathematical formula, not only about an uncertainty relation. The reason for doing so can be found at the end of Heisenberg's celebrated paper published in the year 1927. At the end of his paper, Heisenberg is claiming that his uncertainty relation, or better to say his equation number 1, which is identical with the uncertainty relation, has refuted the principle of causality. I think we are empowered enough to ask ourselves, what does this mean if Heisenberg is right? If his uncertainty relation has the power, if his uncertainty relation is correct, and if his uncertainty relation has refuted the principle of causality, then I think it is acceptable to conclude that his uncertainty relation must be at least as strong as a principle, maybe even stronger than the same. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle is regarded as the heart and as the cornerstone of the so-called Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. The same principle is equally one of the most powerful weapons against causality in micro and macro physics. One of the most important and famous aspects of the so-called Copenhagen-dominated interpretation of quantum mechanics is the lack of a universal causal description of our world, is the lack of causality at quantum level. This is what fuels philosophical interests concerning Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and the Copenhagen-dominated interpretation of quantum mechanics. Generations of philosophers and scientists attacked the philosophical implications of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and the principle as such, but still a refutation of the same is not in sight. Nevertheless, till now, even more than 80 years after publication, there is no general consensus over the validity of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Thus far, despite Heisenberg's reasoning, in order to escape the philosophical implications of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we will have to refute the same. Heisenberg starts his paper about the uncertainty relation published in the scientific journal Zeitschrift für Physik, volume 43, published in the year 1927, page 172 until 198, entitled as Über den anschaulichen Inhalt der quantentheoretischen Kinematik und Mechanik, with the following sentence. I will translate the same in broken English. First of all, allow me to recall the same in German. Eine physikalische Theorie glauben wir dann anschaulich zu verstehen, wenn wir uns in allen einfachen Fällen die experimentellen Konsequenzen dieser Theorie qualitativ denken können und wenn wir gleichzeitig erkannt haben, dass die Anwendung der Theorie niemals innere Widersprüche enthält. Heisenberg is starting his historical paper and writing about the relationship between physical theory, between experimental consequences of this theory, and between inner or logical contradictions. A theory which is applied in practice should never include any inner contradictions. A theory should not include any logical contradictions. Well, in last consequence, Heisenberg himself is claiming that his uncertainty principle, which is based on this starting point of his uncertainty paper, is based on classical logic. He is stating that he is respecting the laws of classical logic and that his uncertainty principle is not contradicting classical logic at all. Heisenberg's uncertainty relation is compatible with the laws of classical logic. The same does not contradict classical logic. This is what Heisenberg is talking about. Thank you for watching Science TV. This is Ilya Barukcic, Jever, Germany, December 2009. Bye bye.